Do immigrants work harder than actual Americans? Absolutely not. I would say, yeah, I don't think immigrants work harder than actual Americans. I think they work for much less, and the fastest way to figure this out is by tracking them back down to their homeland, tracking them back to their country of origin and seeing whether or not this country produces a whole lot of inventors, and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. Seeing the country produces a whole lot of geniuses, you know, and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. Seeing whether or not this country has great infrastructure, and 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. And the countries that do have great infrastructure, 9 times out of 10, America gave them a loan or just gave them billions and billions of dollars to help them build up their major cities. You know, and to see whether or not a country has a great sense of righteousness, just look up the way they treat their women. If they treat their women like second class citizens or prostitutes, that's a good way of knowing. If they treat the women with respect, yeah, that's a great way of knowing. I'll also say look at the number one thing their country export. They export something that's needed for the rest of the world. That's a good sign that they're a necessary group or a great group of people. But they're exporting things that's not really needed or necessary for the rest of the world or something that all groups of people, all countries rely on. Then they're not that necessary or needed. First of all, the only thing you have to offer to America is labor. You're not that needed. There's plenty of people who have the ability to work their asses off and get the job done. I think a lot of these immigrant groups are just here to undercut the average American citizen. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say.